Well, good afternoon. My name is Laíze, but you can call me Lai just to avoid calling me lazy. Well, people used to call me Light when I was little, since that's the English translation of my last name, Luz. I grew up in the vibrant city of Salvador, in the state of Bahia, on the captivating coastline of Brazil. When I was a kid, my parents and my grandparents used to take me to the ocean. Salvador is a place of breathtaking natural beauty, where the warm sands invited me to embrace the light and joy of the sun, where the sunsets painted the sky with the colors of the rainbow. I could breathe in the salty sea breeze while listening to ocean waves and music filling the air. But Salvador is a city of contrasts and struggles. I would be reminded of those challenges whenever we drove by the Canabrava landfill on our way to the Judge's Mansion Social Club. I vividly remember my parents rolling up the car window and my anguish closing my nose because of the terrible smell. I even closed my eyes while I held my breath, as if one sense could interfere with the other. I saw families struggle to make a living from the mountain of waste. I watched children, women, and elderly people collecting treasure of our trash. My grandfather made me sure that we didn't ignore this problem. He would say, "That's our garbage bowl." Those words struck me deeply, leaving a mark on my conscience. Growing up, I received many Barbies from my mom, and my mom loved dolls. Yet, every time I received a new doll, I couldn't help but think of other young girls my age, climbing that mountain of waste, who never had dolls to call their own. I decided to wrap some of my dolls carefully in tissue paper, pretending it was trash, hoping that some of the girls I saw on my journeys would find them someday. I remember one day when I was passing by the landfill, I crossed paths with a girl named Anemone. Her childhood was shaped by the challenges of poverty and the daily struggle for survival. I handed her a doll out of the car window. In that instant, I saw Anemone's eyes, wishing for a different life, a different one that she was living. I never thought I would see Anemone again. But life, you know what? Life has a very curious way of guiding us to light. While conducting field research for my master's degree in social policies and citizenship at the Catholic University of Salvador, I had the most incredible surprise. I was interviewing waste pickers, or people who collect resources from our trash, mostly black, illiterate, and marginalized women. And one of them was about my age. And through conversation, we discovered that we had met 30 years ago. It was pneumonia. By speaking to these women, I learned so much about largely invisible lives of people who collect recyclable and reusable materials. Inspired by these experiences, I became an environmental lawyer, university professor, entrepreneur, and writer with a mission to give a voice to these vulnerable people, those invisible to the state. It is crucial to include these people in the transition from the linear to a circular economy. The interviews I conducted were used to create a documentary film and a book, this one, by the way. And through this project, I brought light to these problems. As a result, I created a program named Eco Women to provide education to young women who don't have many opportunities to achieve their goals. I advocate for their ecological and economic rights. These efforts have elevated the visibility of waste pickers like Anemone, leading the media recognition, covered on the first page of newspapers, invitations to speak at various events, and involvement in important environmental projects. To see Anemone nowadays seated right next to the president of the Brazilian Supreme Court in Brazil, teaching us about recycling, is proof that progress is being made. UC Berkeley's motto is, "Let there be light." The Beahrs Environmental Leadership Program lights the way for our environmental leaders to develop relationships and passions, to make new discoveries, and to build global movements. I am excited to be here today to continue to ask the question, what can I do for the future today? How can I help light the way for others like Anemone? My grandfather was right. It is our responsibility to light the way. Thank you.